So, dude, what are you up to?
Nothing.
Yeah, man. Nothing. I don't even know what day of the week it is right now.
Who am I, man? Like,
What is it? What does it all mean? That's what I want to. Like, what is it? What's the point? How many hours do we dedicate to talking with the Leafs?
Oh God, we're gonna do this on air. I'm just gonna.
Dude, you know what? I was gonna bring a box of Kleenex, just because I know I'm gonna get fucking emotional about this, and I'm not even prepared. Like, I'm not even prepared to be emotional. Like, my eyes are already fucking watering. Like, I'm okay. Should we just
wait. Yeah.
Should we just fucking do this podcast?
Let's do it.
Just fucking get it over with. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I forgot to pour my shots before we start.
Oh yeah, pour that.
And you know what? You do the running commentary. You know how we do it. I want to be amped, but I'm dead inside.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hello, depression, my old friend. Pouring away sorrow. That clown organization on the front. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Many men have been reduced to less. Jesus Christ. The gulping sound effect is intense right now. Are you actually going to down the whole bottle? Okay, so.
Excuse me.
Yeah, do the shot, pussy. Oh, what the fuck was the vape? Yeah, do the vape. Yeah, really keep it together here, professional. Yeah. All right, commentary right now is Anthony is just ingested a whole bottle. Looked like dirty swish on Trailer Park Boys. Was that what you were drinking?
Oh, I can't look at it. Let's go.
You know what? To everybody listening, watching this is insane. The alcohol right now. I'm actually glad I decided to do this. Really, really happy. I'm gonna sip on my Ryan Ginger.
That finishes the year. This bottle of Southern Comfort was supposed to last me all season and playoffs. Doing a couple shots.
Did you mix that with anything?
No.
Fuck off. All right, so this is actually the final episode because El Jefe is done.
I'm gonna say this, but and you know, I got nothing but love and respect for you. I love this team.
You do?
All year we were saying the same thing. This feels different. This team is organized. The front office is consistent. Everything was meant. My mouth is like, I can't tell if it's dry or if I'm just salivating right now.
Yeah, old podcast trick. Down a whole bottle of Southern Comfort right while you're on the air. It's perfect.
Now, just for the record, it was at the top of the label. It wasn't a full bottle.
That's my bad, everybody.
Yeah, and also the plan was I was going to take a couple shots before, and then by the end of the playoffs, I would just have the last swig, and I'd pour it into my Stanley Cup, and I'd drink it, and at least we'd be Stanley Cup champions. Instead, I feel like I need to go to the hospital instead.
Yeah.
Not because of alcohol poisoning,
yeah,
but because of a broken heart.
Oh boy, that's profound. That's deep. I know how you're feeling. This is a fucking joke organization.
I don't think you know how I'm feeling right now.
Are you gonna even be able to do this, buddy?
Dude.
This podcast is gonna be in between you being okay.
Let's get into it, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is the Not After 30 podcast. This is Leaf edition, and this is a hard one. It's a hard pill to swallow. We didn't think we'd be here this quickly, this depressed. The fall from grace happened very swiftly. The Leafs get beat at home in Game 7 against the Montreal Canadiens, who limped into the playoffs, barely had they had like 3 of their guys missing the tail end of the season, including superhuman Carey Price and ageless wonder Shea Weber and Stahl and Corey Perry and like all these guys who were supposed to be over their prime, yet played like they were in their prime. I mean, Weber maybe not Weber, but there was some. This series was such an emotional roller coaster. You get beat up you lose on a giveaway in the first game. Game 1, you lose game 1, and the whole world just freaks out. The Leafs go on to win 3 straight games in convincing fashion, may I say, lighting up Carey Price for 12 goals in 3 games, including a 5-1 and 4-0 victory. And you're telling me the last 2 games they can't score more than 3 goals?
Yeah. I told you at the end of game 5 when I was fucking down, I told you this meme team that it was going to happen. And you're like, no, man, don't give up. We're still in it. And I'm like, I'm not trying to give up, but I'm telling you right now, game 6 with the crowd, this Leaf team bullshit every year. And yeah, I said it all year with you. I said it all year. I'm right there. I'm guilty. This is a different team. This is a new year. We've got the veteran. We've got the grit. I mean, Kyle Dubas addressed pretty much every concern we had in the offseason. I mean, if you told me at the beginning of this season, like not only the players we grabbed in the offseason, but we'd also get Nick Foligno and a couple of other depth players at the trade deadline, Jack Campbell would play out of this world. We'd finish in first place. Like, I'd be excited. But what I told you day 1, episode 1 of this season, anything less than a playoff series round win is a complete and utter failure. I said that.
You did.
I'm sticking by that. This is a complete and utter dumpster. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And here's the problem. Like, I didn't even want to do this episode, truthfully, because, I mean, if there are actual Leaf fans listening to us right now, man, don't do this to yourself. I appreciate you if you're actually a fan and a Leaf fan, but don't listen to more of this shit because we're just going to chirp them. And I think the majority of people listening are non-Leaf fans just salivating at this. So kudos to you. It's the most embarrassing playoff loss ever in my lifetime because it's the Montreal Canadiens. Like, we can't live that down. I think it's bullshit that Western team fans, that organizations haven't been relevant for more than 30 years other than making like one cup final and losing it, like as if they have some ground to stand on. But I get it. Like, beat us when we're down. But Montreal, that's the one fan base now we can't talk any shit to. Like, I wanted this more than anything, like to beat Montreal Canadiens. I have family members who are Montreal fans, friends, like now it's nonstop. And I'm like, yep, I'm the asshole who was saying all that shit when we beat you during the regular season. So I'll take it.
Yeah, you do. We're eating some major crow.
Of course, we deserve it.
I was talking shit with my neighbor. He's a couple years older than I am. He's got like a teenage son who's a Habs fan because his father-in-law is a Habs fan. So he's a Leaf fan, and his father-in-law and his son are Habs fans. And they're after game 1, they're like, "Oh, everything's so good, blah blah blah." I'm like, you know what? Toronto's gonna come back, and you know how Toronto's gonna come back, and they're gonna win. And they won. They won. What was it? 5-1. They won, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." Leafs win 5-1. And I even predicted the score. I said that it's gonna be a blowout. Leafs are gonna win 5-1, 6-1, something like that. And they did. And I said to him, you know how I know. I'm not a fortune teller or anything like that, but you know how I knew the Leafs were going to win that game? Because the Habs fucking suck. That's what I said. I said it in front of the old man. I said it in front of the kid's mother, and I don't give a shit. And I was on fucking cloud 9. I was like, I fucking called this game, and then the Leafs go on this tear, win 3 straight. And for sure, I was like, yeah, they're gonna do this. Why? How could they not do this? They've already done it 3 times in a row handily. How? And the fucking wheels fell off, and the momentum changed, in Game 5 when Montreal was pressing hard and Toronto just said, like they did that thing that they've been doing all season where they were holding the lead in the third. They only gave up 3 third period losses all season. And they did that thing where it looked like Montreal had all these amazing chances, but the Leafs held it out. But Montreal built all this momentum from that. And they didn't turn back from that point. And then they handed the Leafs 2 overtime losses and a Game 7 motherfucker that, to be honest, from the jump, I was like, okay, they're in it. They started better than the previous 2 games. They're in it. But when that fucking, fucking Game 7, goaltenders, Toronto, shit goals, it always fucking happens. 2 years ago against Boston, Anderson lets in 2 of 3 shit fucking goals. Fucking goals that shouldn't have gone in. And Jack Campbell, fucking gentleman Jack Campbell, did it to me. He fucked me again. Let that fucking floater through the 5. When that happened, I was like, shit. I'm going to have to turn my fucking phone off, and I'm going to have to fucking burn every herb in this house because I don't think I can make it to this game. And I still have faith.
Yeah. I don't blame Campbell at all. I mean, actually, Campbell, Spezza, Willie, and maybe personally Brody, because I think that he's our best defenseman right now, and maybe Bogosian. The rest of the team, go fuck yourself. I don't blame Campbell at all. That team blew it in Game 5. Muzzin wouldn't have gotten hurt. Okay, Campbell wouldn't have given up you know what? It's a shitty goal, and he admitted it. Probably the shittiest goal of his career. But we lost that game for him. Just utter trash to be shut out at home, Game 7 against Montreal. That is not the goalie's fault. And it pisses me off more that with Mitch Marner's interview today, the guy is completely tone deaf. I need all the yes men and his family to stop kissing his ass, okay? Because this team has no heart when it comes down to not even playoffs, but just like they say it on the radio all the last few days, just that killer mentality to close out. We don't have it. And it's spanned teams. It's like a team curse. My dad says it all the time and I laugh at him. It's like an old man myth, but it's true. It's completely true.
Yeah. I don't like the heart argument because I believe this team has heart. I think the killer instinct is where it happens. And we both know, I was more invested in this season because I think, and I've probably mentioned this before on Leaf Editions, but I work most evenings, so I might catch a period of hockey, if that. But this season is the first time in my life I've watched every single Toronto Maple Leaf game. And fine, shortened season, that helps too, no shit. But with COVID, I haven't been able to work in months and months. And this was like that one thing that really brought me up. One of 2 things that really brought me up over this whole break, this whole lockdown, was the fact that I watched every single Leaf game. I didn't miss a game. And I was so proud of that because I'd never done that before. And I started getting in my own head. I was like, this is like they signed Joe Thornton. They didn't sit him once, and he's played every game. Every game that he could. He's hurt for a little bit, but he played every game. This is probably his last stab at a championship. I can't imagine any other team signing him this offseason. For sure, the Leafs are going to win the Cup, and I'm going to watch I'm going to tell my grandkids, 2021, when the Leafs won the Cup, I watched every single game. I was invested in that team. I'm not sad. I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated. I'm just heartbroken.
Yeah, I actually I didn't have them winning the Cup, but I thought they'd at least win a goddamn first round. And I'll tell you this about Hart. I don't think Hart in the sense that they don't want to play for this team and they don't want to win, but they are soft as butter. And Hart, when it comes down to when it gets tough, when you're down, when you need to play your best and you look over at your teammates and all of you are just like in it together and you're like, all right, I got to do for them. And a couple of guys stand out and put the team on their shoulders. The guys were paying money, supposed to do that. They're not doing it. And that's a joke. And I'm not one of these guys right now where you hear, man, we need to trade Marner, let's trade Marner for Seth Jones. Okay, for what? What, 1 for 1? They're not going to do that. It's a ridiculous fucking trade. They're going to be here on the team next year. Bring someone in to work with I don't even know who you can bring in. It's an absolute joke.
No.
Fire Manny Malhotra and the other assistant coaches. You need to fucking go. Didn't work out. Special teams killed this team.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong with that. We'll get into it. I put some questions out on Instagram. We're going to get into those in a bit.
Yeah,
but
everybody messaged me that. They're like, yeah, I saw that poll. I did it.
Yeah, thank God. Because I sent it to a bunch of people in fear that because I went dark for like 48 hours, right? Like I was like, I turned off I barely touched social media. I had a couple messages that were outstanding that I had to get back to, but I basically went dark for 48 hours because I am in the mood where I went to my in-laws today to go help my father-in-law out. And I hadn't seen my mother-in-law in a couple of days. I haven't talked to her in a couple of days. And she goes, so about the leave, and I put my finger on her mouth, like the hush. I was like, don't say anything. I don't want to talk about it, which obviously is like very disrespectful, but I don't mean in that sense. But I was like, I can't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I can talk about it now because I got a bottle of liquid courage in my gut, but I couldn't talk about it this morning. I'm still frustrated. I still don't believe it. I saw a meme today being like, when's game 8? And that's what I have more faith in that.
Yeah.
I have more faith in that than fucking believing that it's over.
You know who I actually feel bad, speaking of family? Mama Walks, my mom, the most positive Leaf fan, even during game 7 till the last horn, thought we'd come back. And even after the game was defending them, they'll come back. They'll learn from this. I feel bad for her because I'm going to be completely honest with you. Game 7, I turned that game off when it was 2-0.
You told me you weren't going to watch it.
Yeah, well, I said that knowing full well that I was going to because I just apparently like pain on myself, but I knew it. The truth, I was so pissed after game 6. I knew we lost it. Man. Those 2 overtime back-to-back, going back to Toronto, what this team does with game 7. I was so pissed. And I actually had faith going into game 6. I'm like, okay, man, this is like the first year in a while where I think like, because we were up in the series, we weren't coming as the underdogs and coming back to try and force a game 7, that Montreal is so shit that we're going to be able to do this. Because Montreal fans, if you're listening, kudos to you. Obviously the better team. I think you're up 3-1 now on Winnipeg tonight. So whatever, you guys were the better team. Carey Price had his moments. I don't think Carey Price won them that series. I don't think any of the players won them that series. I think Toronto lost that series in typical Leafs being Leafs fashion. Now, were there some individual, like the young guys? And here's what I'm talking about heart, okay? Montreal, I thought your team's shit all year, and I still can't stand you guys, but I can't say anything right now. They're young players, guys who have never seen playoff time. They came out with heart, man. They scored overtime goals. They assisted. They show. Why can't our young guys who are a couple years older and making 10 sheets? Why can't they do that? That's hard. Montreal has heart. They knew what they had to win. They knew how to beat us after those games, and they said, "Wow, let's actually play like a team playoff hockey." And we couldn't do it. We backed down.
You know, one thing that I thought was interesting, and you know that shot that they have of the hallway before the teams come out. You saw Marc Bergeron the last 3 games of the series.
Oh,
down. Dude, fucking listen. Yeah, it was more like a maroon. But I'll tell you this. First of all, French Canadians, let me rephrase that. Montrealers have style that is unparalleled through the whole country. And if anybody west of Ontario, no, actually west of the GTA and east of Vancouver, y'all fucked for fashion. So put that out there.
They're very Euro.
What in Montreal? Yeah. Anyways, Bergeron. Oh shit, Bergeron. Getting a little messy here.
You got an issue, buddy. You got
man. Yeah. Well, tell me about it. Bergeron's down there. Bergeron's down there last 3 games, rallying the troops, fucking freaking out. Look at Kyle Dubas up there getting ready for nap time. Didn't make any sense to me. I said, listen, fine. Maybe Shanahan, a guy who has a ring. Maybe Shanahan, a first ballot Hall of Famer. Maybe that guy goes down there, whips some ass, fucking bend Keefe over and fuck a little bit, because I don't understand what the fuck's going on. I get it. Sheldon Keefe, former NHLer, has a locker room. All those guys believe in him. It's his room. You're telling me Shanahan's not going to inspire these guys a little bit? Come on. Joe Thornton, fucking old man Winter. You're telling me he can't get up and say fucking something? Wayne Simmons, fucking punching guys' face in.
Okay, exactly. Okay.
maybe Shanahan or Dubas come down for one Rudy speech, game 6. Sure, knock your socks off. This is 4 to 5 years of these players having playoff experience now, almost being playoff veterans. There's no goddamn excuse. They took out our captain, our hometown kid. Whether it's intentional or not, I'm not saying that.
We're not going to talk about if it was.
But what I'm getting at is with all the circumstances, with all the playoff experience, with the season you had, and that if you can't rally around that as a team, then what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's
no reason for these guys to come down and do speeches and see Dubas come down as a young guy and finally get a voice and be louder than he is. That's no point. You know what, Mitch? I don't care about your mullet, Austin. I don't care about what you wore into the. You guys stand up and say something. Say, you know what? I've been shit. I'm gonna go out there, score a goal. You guys follow me. If I do this, will you? And that's how you show them.
We've seen Austin Matthews take over a game. You've seen him go out there, lay the body, steal a puck, score a goal. You didn't see that. Now Montreal, all respect due to Montreal. They won this series. They played well. Good for them. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna embrace a team. I'm still feeling the fact that my team lost. But we know Matthews can overtake a game. And we didn't see that. Now, granted, they did a really good job suffocating him and Mitch Marner, not giving them space to be creative, whatever. The point is, you are currently, you led the league in goals. You can score. Everyone knows you can do it. Was the risk the thing? Who knows? End of the day, you need to find yourself out of that trap. You need to find you're getting paid $13.5 million this season. You need to find yourself out of that. And I don't like the money's. I don't even care about the money. Like always people bitching about, oh, you have half the cap tied in 4 players. Yeah, because they're 4 great players. Now, let's go.
Exactly. You know what? That's fine. We're going to be the one team to do that. Have all that money into 4 players, fine. But that money comes with responsibility. So those 4 players need to step up. JT, I have no issue with him because the guy was injured. He was ramping up, so it is what it is. I think he gets another year. So these guys need to come back, and they need to – like Willie had a great playoff too, man. The guy's finally coming into his own, so it's those 2 other guys. And Austin is very – even in his postseason interviews, calm, cool, collected. I think that's good for the future to have that mentality. I think Matthews – like, I don't know. I'm not giving up on Marner either, but these guys need to step up. Like, this is the future as a Leaf fan and as Leaf players. This is what your team is going to be. It's going to be the 4 of you. It's going to be some really, really good defense, hopefully a good goaltender, and then you're going to have bit pieces making smaller amounts that are going to come out year in, year out. They're going to do really well for us. They're going to play their way out of Toronto because we're not going to be able to afford them because of these other guys. They'll get a better paycheck somewhere else. We'll bring in a new guy, and it's just going to be a repeat process. Yeah. And if that's going to be the case, then these 4 guys need to step up.
You know what? It works. It works in Tampa. It worked in Pittsburgh. It worked in Chicago. It worked in all these places where you give big money to your core guys and you build around them. So I'm waiting for it to happen in Toronto. That's what I'm with. And again, this was an incredible year, incredible season, fun season to watch, all Canadian matchups. Mini series throughout. They won all those series except for the Ottawa series where they tied. This was a lineup year for this run. Let's get into some of the show notes. As much as I want to bitch about the whole time, I can't. We need to move on. Can we touch base? Congratulations to Austin Matthews on winning the Rocket Richard Trophy. First Leaf to do it. I know it's no secondary prize, but it is nice to have that. Seeing that it's never been done. So the first Leaf to ever win it, Austin Matthews. We're all happy. 41 goals. Let's go.
Yeah, it's awesome. He won that award, and congrats. And yeah, it's kind of hollow right now with the season we had, and I hate this fucking team, but I love this fucking team. And hopefully when, in my fantasies in 40 years, I'm laying in bed and they finally win, and I look back and be like, oh yeah, he won that. That was great when he won that. And it's all candy in the future. So good for him for now, but I don't give a shit as well.
Okay, before we get into the Instagram questions, I want to say this about following the team. And, I get we get some heat in it in our group chats. Every fan base has this. And, I always be like, I'm never going to be a turncoat. I'm never not going to be a Leaf fan. Win, lose, rain, or shine, I'm going to be a Leaf fan. I'm going to be a Jays fan. I'm going to be like a TFC. I'm always going to be a Toronto sports fan. And all those guys who choose not to be Leaf fans, it's fine. You have your own, but the thing is, this is your hometown team. This is who you should be supporting. Now, granted, free world, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But doesn't that say something about your character when you choose not to love your home? Doesn't that tell something about your loyalty that every other year you have a new team, you're rocking a new lid because this year it's Vegas' year or St. Louis, Doesn't that say something about your character where you're just flip-flopping like a dead fish? What is that? Who are you? And why are you such a weak human being? Because with all the highs come lows. This is a low, and you know what? This will be a build. I'm fine. We fucking said this 5 times already about going on the first round. These are building blocks. Yeah. Ovechkin didn't get his fucking first cup until he was 31 years old. He won a fucking President's Trophy 3 or 4 times, and finally got his fucking cup.
Yeah, well, at least Washington can win some goddamn rounds too when Ovi was there at the beginning. This definitely doesn't feel personal at all to anybody out there, but I will say, yeah, if you're just chasing that winning feeling and you have nothing really on the line, man, it's a pretty hollow feeling, and it's almost just, I don't know, there's a camaraderie to losing, and we do a lot of it, so there's a lot of bonding here with the Leafs. And yeah, I mean, if you're not into your hometown team because your dad moved here, but he's been a Montreal fan and his dad was a Montreal fan, then man, good for you. Or if you moved here from out west, or if you just at 4 years old because your family didn't watch hockey at all, but you liked Nashville's jerseys and they've been your team. All right, cool, man. Good for you. I don't give a shit. But yeah, to jump shit constantly, it's just it's a very hollow sports fan. I don't.
Yeah.
Whoever this is directed at, you, anonymous.
I'm just saying it. Okay, let's get into the questions. I'm starting to feel better. This is almost like therapy.
I would hope so. It's been a couple minutes. I bet you're feeling pretty good.
My stomach's a little hot. I'm starting to get an acidy feeling in my esophagus. So
yeah.
All right. Question number 1: Who beat the Leafs in the playoffs? Did the Leafs beat the Leafs, or did the Habs beat the Leafs? With 68% of the votes, they say the Leafs beat the Leafs, and I think that is right. All due respect to Montreal, they played really well. For 4 games, they played really well, but the Leafs beat the Leafs in this series.
Yeah, I chose the Leafs. The people who messaged me that they had done the quiz, they chose the Leafs as well. I mean, I honestly think if you asked a Montreal fan, the ones I knew, my grandfather included, going into the series, they all thought that Toronto was going to, they would make their little jokes like maybe, you never know in the playoffs, but they all thought, I think Toronto was going to win in maybe 6.
Yeah.
Leafs beat themselves. It's so frustrating to think about because Montreal going now into Winnipeg, you are the better team because the better team wins and you guys won. So as much as we want to hate on you guys and we think, we were the better team going, it doesn't mean shit because it's the same excuse I use with the people I know who are Sens fans where I go, yeah, you guys kicked our ass in the regular season, early 2000s all the time, but we always had you in the playoffs. It didn't even fucking matter. Patrick Lalime, remember? Yeah. Same for us now with Montreal. What can I say? Oh man, remember that year Austin Matthews won that award and we beat you guys in the regular season? I'll be like, yeah, game 7.
Yeah, exactly. And I even said it in our last pod, saying if Carey Price has a series, he could steal it, but I just don't see it happening. Well, he fucking did it, so fuck me, right?
Yeah, people need to stop doubting Carey Price, man. I hope not. If you go back an episode and see that I've badmouthed Carey Price, go right ahead. But he's Team Canada's goalie. I've always liked that about him. And he's a BC kid. I can't stand the actual Quebecers and having a French-speaking coach is mandatory. I hate that shit about Montreal. Right. Never had an issue with Carey Price. I always hated the flack he got. 'Cause I honestly hate that players' contracts are out there in any sport. It just creates rift with fans. I wish we didn't even know.
That's a good point. Next question: Did you expect more from this team? Kind of a funny question, right? But a lot of haters out there being like, still first round. 73% of people said yes, they did expect more from this team.
That's how bad it is this year, this loss, how bad it is the majority of people actually thought the Leafs were going to do something. We actually had confidence.
All sportscasters had the Leafs easily beating Montreal. Nobody fucking took Montreal.
Yeah.
Would you consider this regular season a success?
Nope. Said it episode 1.
I think the regular season was a success. It's like 20 years since they won a division, they led the division or finished first in the division. Yeah. 56% of people, kind of split on this one. 56% said yes, they do consider this regular season a success. All right. Would you re-sign Joe Thornton?
No. I think he potentially retires, maybe.
Astounding 88% of people don't think the Leafs should re-sign Joe Thornton. I have to agree. I didn't like Joe Thornton's play in any, even when he scored. I was like, okay, whatever. Now he's the oldest Leaf to score a playoff goal. Whatever. I think this is what happens with Joe Thornton. I think Joe Thornton takes a year off from the NHL and plays in Europe or whatever, has a farm in St. Thomas or something, and then he signs back with the Leafs at the deadline and joins them for a playoff rush. I know it sounds crazy. I think that's what happens.
Man, I think if he spends any time outside of the NHL, he's done. And he could possibly be done. I don't think he signs. I think there is someone out there who might give him the league minimum, maybe a Western team or something like that. But yeah, but if he wants to come back for depth in the playoffs and not a starting position, fine.
Yeah. Okay. We had him as a dud for more than we had him as a bud in our regular season, and I really didn't see the value in Joe Thornton other than the fact that he was the old guy and
he was a PR piece. He was a PR piece. If we won and we got Joe Thornton his first cup, that's a Sports Illustrated cover. That's ESPN interviews. That's coverage around the world. Like San Jose, people are buzzing about it. We're the heroes 10 years from now that finally gave Jumbo Joe his Stanley Cup. Like, it was a storyline. That was it. His play was not.
We would have been the Avalanche in 2002.
Yeah, with
Ray Bork.
Exactly.
And I might be wrong in that year, but I think it was 2000. Anyways, next.
Close to that team. Yeah.
Would you re-sign Jason Spezza?
Yes.
With 96% of the votes, yes.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you?
I'd give him an A next year.
You know what? I like that. I like that a lot because A, he's earned it. He wants to be here, local guy. But
if he keeps his play and he still takes the league minimum, which is what he's saying, and he tells other teams like, it's either Toronto or I'm retiring. I love that, man. Like I said, Spezza's one of the guys like with Campbell that gets kind of a pass for the playoffs. Spezza does exactly what he's supposed to do with that contract. He plays above that. He actually elevates that contract.
100%.
So it's like,
this is a better year this year than he's had his last 4 years. So
yeah, 100%.
Good on Spezza. You know, I hate to see him go down like this. I really hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't retire. I hope he returns because I really feel this. Oh, you know what? Fuck, I forgot this point. Fuck, I should have wrote it down. I forgot to mention it backtrack just a second. Let's not about the Montreal Canadiens. Let's not fucking forget what they did last year to the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is Montreal's thing. Montreal's thing is a big first round upset and then get fucked the second round. So I put that feather in Montreal's cap. I fucking forgot to mention that. I can't believe I just remembered now. Okay. Anyways,
I'll get cocky again next year, but man, I'll take it. I'm not going to talk shit to Montreal fans. Like legit, my brother and I had Montreal fans like that we know being like, oh yeah, this is like our fucking win dance. This is our Leaf game set and doing shit like that. And we're like, yeah, man, just I'll get on my knees right now. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, like this could be Toronto's Tampa year when they got swept by Columbus and then came back the next year to win the COVID Cup. So, like I'm, as much as I hate this, I still have that fucking faith. All right. Would you re-sign Wayne Simmons? This is a controversial one. With 52% of the votes, they don't think the Leafs should re-sign Wayne Simmons. Interesting.
Man, this one, very tricky because he did nothing in the playoffs. Like, yeah, one memorable hit, maybe two in like game 2, 3. Like Montreal player, like how can a guy like Cole Caulfield, his size, Suzuki, Kotkaniemi, how can these guys just be skating around and not getting absolutely demolished? Because, man, Montreal was playing dirty, and I get it, dirty within the rules of playoff hockey. And what I mean by that is they're checking us. They're like playing a bit rough against the boards. Like, but we weren't doing that. And Simmons, one of the guy who's supposed to. Where did he step up? Like,
yeah, Simmons went ghost, and it's heartbreaking because he understood his role. The first game of the season, he had that big punch out. Like I didn't know where he went, and I'm not saying like maybe they had a thing where like, okay, guys, they're gonna come out and hit us. Let's play our game and let them chase us. And then when that obviously didn't work and the Leafs started hitting again, Simmons really wasn't anywhere. But I wouldn't cut him for this because I think the body of work he had this season, including the injury, I think that awards him if he wants to stay and whatever 1.5 or 1 million bucks that he signed for. I can't see him doing that again, but you never know. I mean, if this core or this team feels like they're close enough, you might get guys taking cuts. So
yeah, and you know what? Yeah, he played so well and tough during the regular season, and he's such a new guy to the team that if he comes back with like financially, it makes sense for us as a team cap wise, and is doing that third, fourth line role. Like, yeah, I think Simmons could deserve a second year to make up for how he ended this season.
Next question. Does Freddie Anderson return?
I don't think so.
With an astounding 88%, they don't think Freddie Anderson returns. I honestly think Anderson is going to re-sign with the Leafs for like some kind of like whatever deal, because they only have like $12 million to play with, and they got to sign like 8 players. But they need to. They're looking for a tandem. Dubas has already come on and said they're looking for a tandem. Campbell's going to be part of that tandem. So does Anderson stick? We both know Anderson starts slow. So you give him maybe 5 to 8 starts at the beginning of the season, and you give Campbell the 13 whatever starts, and you're in a better position at the starting of the season. I think Freddie Anderson signs on like a $4.5 million deal, a 1-year deal, or maybe a 2-year deal. I can see it happening. I think he has something to prove. Plus, do you think this season would be different with a healthy Freddie Anderson?
Man, up until maybe the last 2 episodes before this, I kept saying that I think our playoffs still reside with Freddie when he comes back healthy. Like I still thought that. And if the contract you're talking about is actually what would happen, yeah, a 1A, 1B combo, Freddie and Jack, whoever's 1A, 1B out playing, and Freddie's playing for a bigger contract or to show other teams, like, yeah, this 1-2 years in Toronto, and then that'd be great. And I totally think it would be hard to find a better goalie than Freddie for that type of situation. Yeah. But I also just have this feeling that, like, with the injury and kind of the media bullshit and how he was just, maybe he's just a good guy, and that's what I've heard, but how he was so at peace of not playing in the playoffs, and like, I think maybe he was just like, yeah, whatever, I'm out the door. Like, if I win the cup here with Toronto, that's a bonus. I'm going to make some more money on my next contract, but screw it. I'll sign with LA or something. Or
All right, moving on. Now, this next question, again, a little controversy around it. Would you trade Mitch Marner? The Leafs have already come out and said they're not trading Mitch Marner. It's not happening. Everyone's kind of butthurt because he really didn't perform. I wouldn't trade Mitch Marner. I don't care if he costs you $12 million. He's led your team in points since he arrived. You're going to tell me you're going to say goodbye to your top point getter? Not a chance. 56% of people say don't trade Mitch Marner.
Yeah, you know what? He's coming back. Just get his head out of his ass, man. Like, he just seems to have some real like arrogance to himself. So you got to change that shit. Like, you got to play better. First off, trade one, I've heard from some people, dumb. Try Mitch Marner, try to go for Jack Eichel. You want to take that money into another center and have Tavares, Eichel, and Matthews? Dumb. Number 2, as much as I would love Seth Jones, and he would be our franchise cornerstone defenseman, and it would be sick, I doubt Columbus is going to do that, and it would involve Marner and much more, and it's not going to happen. Seth Jones is going to go somewhere else. So you're not going to get the trade you want from Mitch Marner, fans out there. I don't know what pipe dream you think. Yeah, he showed no heart, lack of character in this playoffs. He needs to step it up, but I mean, you can't trade him at this point, and I still think, I mean, Darren Dreger or whatever was pretty much saying as much. I still think there is a reputation among the NHL. He's still a star player, but
yeah,
to be the number 2 highest paid behind like what, Panarin, you got to start playing like it. Like, I don't know, man, have a pie, like a slice of humble pie. And the worst thing about Marner, And you know what? It can be not fair to him, but you're the hometown kid. So we live vicariously through you. And the fact that you screwed the team financially and you didn't care, and your dad came out and said, fuck this, we don't need the Leafs, we can leave. And you were willing to just take us to the cleaners. And it didn't matter when guys who weren't Leaf fans growing up or who didn't come here were willing to do the same thing. Yeah, you know what? Now the pressure's on you because you kind of did a me versus them with the fans at that point. And we started coming around because your play was great and you were quiet and jokey, and it's like the young Leafs who are cool. But if you're not going to perform in the playoffs, then you know what? That's going to come right back around.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I like a lot of what you're saying. At the end of the day, for me, it's not so much his mental game. Mitch Marner needs to bulk up. He needs to put some weight on. He needs to go on the Zach Hyman workout plan, and he needs to be able to hold his ground. Because you saw Shane Weber and whatever his fucking first name is, Petrie, light him up. He got pushed around like he was Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield skated like he was Mitch Marner. It was a fucking role reversal. It was embarrassing. As a young man, he should fucking take his dick out of his own ass and fucking do some squats and make sure that he can't be put. Zach Hyman, fine. He's 6 foot. He's a little bit taller than Mitch Marner. The guy is a beast, and you have to break a sweat in your back to get the puck off Zach Hyman. Mitch Marner, you can one-hand him off the puck and scoop it up. So
that crazy stat about the 5 to 6 penalties in the playoffs of the puck going over the.
Oh my God,
dude! Honestly, he's soft as butter and he's scared out there, and he's just dumping the puck without thinking. And hey, Leaf players, here's an idea: why don't you double the amount of no look spin back passes? You guys should just do more of that. It works constantly for this team.
Yeah.
What is with that? Why do they not learn from their mistakes? Why do they not learn from their mistakes? Honestly.
You know what? Because it works so many times. Because because it works so many times. They're like, yeah, it will work one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man.
Moving on. This is, first of all, this pod's going way long. I'm starting to feel way better for the record.
Yeah. We knew this, Benny. Come on.
Who do you think the Leafs would have played better against, Oilers or Jets? With an astounding 80% said the Oilers.
Yeah, I was one of those people. Honestly, as much as it pisses me off when Noodles on Overdrive talks about it, Hellebuck is one hell of a goalie. I think Winnipeg's offense is pretty evenly spread out and good. I think Matthews is the best player out of the two teams. But Marner, Tavares, Ehlers, Scheifele, like all these guys, you kind of go down the list. Winnipeg matches up pretty evenly offense, and they've got a better defense than Edmonton. And Edmonton, as you've seen when they got swept, is if you tie up two players, a whole team falls. And I mean, we're one to talk because it pretty much happened to us as well. So we're in the same boat. But it's just like, I think we would have had a better chance against Edmonton. I think it would have been almost an offensive shootout.
You know what? I like the matchup against the Oilers. I said it from the beginning of the season. Oilers didn't have enough defense, and obviously you saw that.
Darnell Nurse is a stud, though.
Stud. And congratulations on the new baby. But at the end of the day, I've now watching the Jets play all season. Beginning of the season was a different story, but watching the Jets play all season, the Jets have a really good team. They have a very deep team. Will they be able to pull it out? I don't know. And
I like Paul Maurice as a coach too.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Moving on. Who's gonna cry more on the pod, me or you? 88% of people said I was gonna cry more. Yeah, they're probably right. I mean, 12%. Only 12% said it was you.
Yeah, but that has less to do with people complimenting me and more of them insulting you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I always think I'm a nice guy. Well. I always think I'm a nice guy. Everyone just loves to fucking take shots at me. Okay.
Well, I will admit right now is very amusing sometimes when you give it sometimes just as good in the chat, buddy.
Well, yeah, I think I do too. Apparently nobody else does. Anyways, moving on. Do you think anyone from the front office or coaching staff will be fired? 52% of people said no. And I agree. I don't think that anyone will be fired. I don't think anyone who isn't under contract will leave. I think more that you're going to see the exact same team. Well, so not the exact same team. Everyone who's under contract and everyone who's hired on their team without expiring contract will be back next year. I don't think this team is coming back with a vengeance next year. I don't think they're getting rid of anybody. I think they're all going to come with a chip on their shoulder next year.
Well, I just think the assistant coaches are the only ones who are on the line. I'm not sure of their contract situations, but I mean, honestly, I'm sure he's a good guy. And at the start of the season when we were buzzing, I thought it was great. But like, how can you bring Malhotra back? Or what is it, Dave Haskell? Like, I'm not sure on those guys, but I guess not fired. You're right. I don't think anybody's going to get shit canned after this. But yeah, I think we're going to see new assistant coaches or a new power play specialist.
Yeah, I think they're going to come back. I think Manny Malhotra kind of first year in the NHL behind the bench. I think he'll be back.
Oh, he was with Vancouver.
Is there special teams?
Well, he was behind the bench, and then he came over to us, right? After 1 year with Vancouver, I think.
This would be the Leafs' second or third special teams coach in the last 3 or 4 seasons. So
it has nothing to do with the coaches, man. Like, you listen to Kristen Shilton, and you listen to all these reporters who go down the Leafs practice. They look like a juggernaut practicing the power play unit. It looks unstoppable. It's just something about this team when it comes to game time. It doesn't connect. Like, they just can't enter a zone. And then how many times do you have to pass the puck before a shot? Like, I guess they really miss those idiots in the crowd that yell shoot all the time. Like, I guess you need those guys.
Well, this kind of concludes Leaf Edition. I don't, the way that I leave it is, there's a saying in Leafland, there's always next year. This team's never moving. You're never going to have the Hamilton Maple Leafs. The team's always going to be here, rain or shine.
Yeah.
Just like the Not After 30 podcast. No, that's not true. The Not After 30 podcast will not exist at one point in time. But
don't say that.
But at the end of the day, I'm in it for the long run. You know what? Anybody who's like, oh, Leafs suck on that, bitch, go back and watch The Bachelor, okay? Go watch The Bachelor because obviously that's more your speed.
Yeah.
Professional sports is a male soap opera. There's highs and lows. We're just in a low right now, baby. It will get better. The sun will be back tomorrow.
Yeah. Don't burn your jerseys. Don't punch your fucking TVs. I have the emotional roller coasters like fans, but I mean, you're a Leaf fan. And if you're a new Leaf fan, I hate to tell you this, but this is how we roll, man. We lost to a Zamboni driver. I mean, the 3-1 against Boston. I mean, any meme you can think of. If there's a former Leaf player about to play us, if there's a guy reaching a milestone, if there's a team on a 10-game losing streak, if any of stuff like that happens, we're going to lose. That's just who we are, guys. Embrace it. Have fun. I hate this team, and I'm going to see you day one.
That's right, my man. At the end of the day, this is what we signed up for, right? Like, at the end of the day, this really doesn't affect us. I mean, you get sad because a team you want to win doesn't win.
I was so mad after Game 6, man. I was so mad.
At the end of the day, it's not real life. Like, your family's healthy, my family's healthy. Everyone's good. Everyone wins. Okay, like at the end of the day, does it suck? For sure. Will we get over it? We will. We're Leaf fans. We have thick skin. We've been there for a long time.
Philly, Eagles, Raptors. I've gotten some championships. I just need the blue and white to, win a playoff round. I'm not even asking for a cup. Win a round.
There's always.
I'm telling you, no, dude. I'm telling you right now. Fully support this team. We'll get to December, January, episode 4 or 5. I'll be stroking them off. It'll be the same thing. I'll tell you right now. I am never ever picking them in that draft again to go past round 1 until they do. I don't care if I lose money to it. I'm never choosing them again, dude.
An After 30 best in the nation hockey pool had so many busted brackets. This is Tampa all over again. I mean, Tampa was a lock. Leafs were a lock, and it totally busted. Bob, before I leave you, is there any team in the playoffs right now that you're going to follow?
I mean, I was thinking about that. I was talking to my brother. Not really. I'm definitely not watching a single moment of the Winnipeg Montreal. I'm just not going to do it. I've got McKinnon and Makar in my playoff fantasy pool, so I am kind of cheering for Colorado, killing it there. Otherwise, man, the way the Leafs, I don't give two shits. Like, you know what? Let's go Jays. Go Jays, go.
Jays edition coming up soon. Myself, I wish death to all the other teams. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. It's
And,
all XFL, MLB,
Yeah.
let's go, whatever.
you know, what I want moving forward. If the Avs win or if Vegas wins, I'm on board for both those teams winning. I think the Avs really deserve it. They really built a really great team. But at the end of the day, I don't give as long as fucking a team like first of all, if Boston wins, fuck everything.
I know the one guy in your chat is a Boston fan. Man, they are a wagon. Like, Boston is scary. Tampa too. But Boston is fucked.
Well, I'll tell you, Boston and Tampa, if they end up locking horns, that's going to be a motherfucker. I won't watch a single second of it, but I'll check the scores next morning.
Screw Islanders and Frankie Borelli, man. I don't want the Islanders to win. I love Lou, but I do not want. I hate.
I would like the Islanders to win this series against Boston. But you know what? Yeah, well, fuck Boston first and foremost. But I don't care if the West wins. I don't care if or whatever the alignment is now. Leafs are out. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out too.
See you next year.
I guess. Peace. Fuck me, right? Apparently.